Welcome to the Lookout Cookout, celebrating the history, heritage, people, and places of the Cape Lookout area of North Carolina.
This episode of Lookout Cookout is brought to you in part by IslandTraders.com, your source for the highest quality name brands and casual fashion.
And not only does Island Traders have amazing retail stores in both Beaufort and Atlantic Beach, but now they also have a super clean and modern online shop that will blow you away.
Shop online and take advantage of web-only specials, a huge selection, and even free shipping with orders of $100 or more. Can't always make it to the beach to shop at Island Traders, but you can always hit the website for some top-quality retail therapy, Island style.
So stop by IslandTraders.com and get some great stuff for you and your family. Island Traders, because island time is a state of mind. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Lookout Cookout. I am one half of your hosting team, Levi.
I am 3/4 of your host. Well, my math, I wasn't.
Something went wrong.
hey, guys, it's Opie. I don't know where I was going with that.
I was going to say, Opie, how are you doing today? But you, judging from your math skills, you're a little loopy today.
I was an art major. I don't know nothing about math. I can barely spell math.
M-E, dang it.
M-A-F-F, math.
So, Opie, I know we haven't seen each other in so long.
It's been a while.
Literally about the 3
minutes,
hours
even.
that we did the interview for this episode. But we got a good one. We got a very young, kind of local episode. I say young, meaning the idea that we're talking about, not necessarily the guest. I'm sure she is young. She's probably our age. But we got the Miss Catherine Roth, who's general manager of the Morehead City Marlins, which is the summer collegiate baseball team that plays here in Morehead City.
Nailed it.
I think that's correct. Yeah, summer collegiate
It
league.
sounded right, man. I got your back.
So they play out of the Coastal Plains League, which is, Catherine mentions in the interview, is the second-ranked college player league in the country.
Yeah, apparently, we'll get into the details as we move along. The difference. I was very uninformed myself. You know, I grew up with the Kinston Indians up the road. They're a farm league.
Same.
A lot of people, if you're a little farther away than the local area, maybe the Mudcats or
Durham Bulls.
Yeah, all the minor league teams that you kind of grew up, hearing about or going and seeing as a kid.
Yep.
I associated the Marlins with them, and apparently it's a whole different league.
Yeah, and she does a good job of explaining kind of the differences right towards the beginning of the chat that we had. But the main difference, just to give a premise for everybody, is these are college players, so they don't get paid. They're basically, this is I think I described it in the interview as a transition league. This is basically helping them kind of hone their skills going from college ball to hoping to
get them ready for the big leagues.
Yeah,
exactly.
So that's the hope. So this, I think it's going to be a great episode. We really got kind of a lot more out of it than we were expecting, just because neither Opie or I are very well versed in baseball in general. So we do
okay, but as far as the local Morehead City Marlins team and everything that goes involved with them and their league and everything, it was a lot to learn, and it was interesting to hear about.
Yeah, and I think Catherine did a great job as far as really opening up to us as far as the amount of information she was able to give us, and she was really nice. She
had all the answers.
She did.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to chat with her. So
and
it's be a good listen for everybody.
She was great at flattering us, which is just how you get ahead on the Lookout Cookout.
You nailed it. I can't add anything else to that. You know what you're talking about.
But please, everybody, stay tuned for the interview, and also please check out, if you want to purchase tickets, merchandise, get address and game times for the
a lot of information. As of this recording, we know it depends when you could be listening, but as of this recording, their seasons get ready to start.
Yeah,
any day now.
It'll start. We mentioned the interview, but I'll go ahead and plug it here. It is May 26th is the first game of the season, and May 27th, the very next night, is their home opener in Morehead City. But go ahead and check out their website. It is mhcmarlins.com, and you can also check out facebook.com/mhcmarlins. On both of those sites. Not on Facebook, you can't purchase anything, but I'm sure you can get in contact with someone.
Facebook will take your money.
Yeah, Facebook will be happy to take your money. But both of those sites, you can find out, upcoming games, schedules, get the address for both the storefront that is on the waterfront in Morehead, and also the address for the actual field.
Ball field, you got it. Any of that information will be on their websites. Of course, you can always check out the links we'll have up on our website as well. But we'll get to that in just a minute. I think in a little, after we get done with this and a quick break, we'll probably come back and talk about a little
grilling.
Baseball inspiration grilling.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Stick around, guys.
This episode of the Lookout Cookout is brought to you by Above It All Studios, covering all of your video recording and photography needs, offering studio portraits, on-location shooting, HD aerial drone videography, and much more. Book them for your next family reunion when everyone's together. Schedule an engagement photo shoot to capture that special moment forever. Visit AboveItAllStudios.com for more details.
Woo! We're back.
That was very excited.
You gotta try new things.
Yeah, you gotta keep everything fresh and exciting.
Figured I was like Ric Flair inspired. Woo!
It's
Coming back
Ric
from
Flair
the break.
driving by in a car. Doppler effect Ric Flair.
I hope Ric Flair's listening. North Carolina native. I hope he comes across our podcast. So Levi,
Sir.
this
Okay.
episode's Cookout Creative segment.
Yes.
Baseball interview. Local
Yes.
Morehead City Marlins team. What do you think? Baseball and food. What comes to your mind?
For right off the bat, hot dogs, of course, pretzels, nachos, burgers, really anything
Delicious.
anything delicious and anything fried and on the grill that you just throw whatever you want on it.
Pretty much everything we do with this segment is grilling.
Yeah,
And
that's
pretty
the
much-
in case you haven't figured it out by now.
Spoiler alert. Yeah. And at least in my mind, pretty much anything grilled, it just goes along with summertime and baseball and just deliciousness.
Absolutely.
And some other verbs and adjectives that aren't coming to mind right now.
That really just work in well to this conversation.
But you read my mind. Baseball, food. You're thinking hot dogs.
Yes.
Pretzels, nachos, all things of that nature.
Yep.
So how could we kind of take this episode's guest and the food segment and combine that with something a little more local, like
So basically, you're trying to come up
Yeah.
with a local flair on traditional ballpark food.
Got it.
That's what you're
You
aiming
got
for.
it. And,
All
of
right.
course, with the area, it's a no-brainer. You're going with seafood.
Sure,
So
absolutely.
How do you put those together? And I got to thinking like hot dog, seafood. I mean, even researching it's hard to find anything. Hot dogs and shrimp or fish or
Yeah, I mean,
sounds
like
a little
seafood
wonky.
dogs exist out there, but they're odd. They're a
Yeah,
little odd.
But anything that is to our caliber of skill level,
Yeah, that's a good point.
and then will possibly equal out to quality.
Yeah.
I just went in a different direction. I thought hot dog, seafood, a po' boy.
Yeah.
It's on a bun
Yeah.
or
very true.
or bread
Roll
of
some
sort.
sort, yeah.
And seafood. Let's keep it relatively simple for ourselves.
Yeah.
So I went with the shrimp po' boy.
Classic.
For those that don't know, because I don't recall exactly when in my life I was like, oh, that's a po' boy. I'd heard it for the longest time, but
Yeah.
wow, what's a po' boy? It's basically like an open-faced sandwich type
Yeah.
scenario.
Po' boy is
Maybe-
a larger open-faced version of a sandwich or a burger. So if you got a shrimp po' boy, it's basically a larger shrimp burger that's open-faced, and it's usually on, instead of being on like a round hamburger bun, it's usually on like a hoagie roll or something along those lines.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I put the connection together. Is
Yeah.
a hoagie, po' boy type, whatever bread you're going with,
Sure.
resembles in my mind, anyways, the bun of a hot dog. So
No,
there's a
I
connection.
I am picking up what you're laying down, sir.
So as always, we'll have the link on the website. Take a second to pause or go check it out later. You can follow along. But the recipe I went with was a grilled shrimp po' boy, and what I really enjoyed about it was the seasoning aspect of it beforehand.
Right. The whole marinating.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
as always with any of our recipes, you can kind of put your own spin on it and do what you like. It's not hard to put shrimp on a bun.
Well, that's the nice thing about doing grilling is you can really just take the meat and then you can ignore anything else beyond the meat part and just do
You
whatever
can
you want.
simply grill it and,
Yeah.
and then put it in your mouth and enjoy it, and
Absolutely.
that's as easy as it gets. But
And
I
still
like
delicious.
I like to do this segment. It gives me a chance to kind of experiment a little bit as
Yeah,
well.
sure.
So with this particular one, it's still relatively simple. There's only a few ingredients.
Yep.
Again, the link's on the website. You can check out everything in case you forget or want to go back and refer to it. But you're going to need about a tablespoon of olive oil, about two teaspoons of lemon juice, and then about a half teaspoon of Old Bay seasoning. Your shrimp, depending on the season and how you prefer it. Personally, with something like this, I'm going to go with something like more jumbo shrimp.
Yeah.
popcorn shrimp or anything like that. You're just going to need more of. So
Yeah.
however you prefer it, but I'm going to go with some jumbo shrimp.
And that's about all the ingredients, the measurements you're giving out. That's basically per pound of shrimp that you have. So if you double, triple, whatever the amount of shrimp that you have, just adjust accordingly.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I've got a relatively small family. The girls are young, so it's going to vary from person to person.
Definitely.
But you're going to take those ingredients and just put them in like a freezer bag, something Ziploc.
Yep.
Put all those in together, along with your shrimp, those ingredients, and just shake it up.
Yep.
Pretty much it. Just get a good coating on it.
Massage it in.
Massage it in. I feel like there's a joke there, but my mind's not going that quick.
Yeah.
Tweet us your jokes.
Yeah.
But you can put it all in a Ziploc bag, shake it up, get it going, and then basically just throw it on the grill. The thing I like to do with the hoagie roll as well is go ahead and slice it open.
Yep.
And then I like to toast the inside.
Oh, yeah.
That just gives it a crunch. And then when you've got liquidy type goodness like the shrimp mixture that we were just talking about,
you
put it on there. It tends not to saturate the bread and get all soggy.
Keeps
and
it from getting soggy. Yeah. A lot of people would use in addition to or as an alternative to that is they'll put like a thin layer of mayonnaise or mustard or something like that on the bread before they put the meat or whatever, because it kind of creates a barrier. I'm not a big mayonnaise or really condiment fan in general, so I do what you do, where I grill it or toast it or whatever, just kind of give it a little bit of hardness. I like the crunch. Nothing
more
too
disappointing than having a delicious meal and you took all that time prepping and cooking and all that, and then it's just a soggy roll.
Soggy
and
bread. It's the worst.
It still tastes delicious, but there's that little bit of disappointment. So
definitely.
A little bit of toast on there with your bread makes all the difference in the world. As Levi mentioned, you can go ahead and add as much or as little else as you want. Personally, I like the little bit of added flavor of some condiments. I like to take just a light tartar sauce, toast that, or butter that on my bread.
Oh yeah, butter bread. Yeah,
and add that as well. It adds a nice little hint of flavor.
And a little trick I've picked up just over the years. I think I actually got this from Alton Brown, maybe. When you're grilling the shrimp, you put them on skewers. Depending on what your grate looks like, you put them on skewers to grill them.
You don't want to lose one of those in the...
Yeah. Basically, in order to keep the shrimp from kind of stacking on top of each other, because you want to leave a little bit of space, what I do is you basically put one shrimp and then you put one piece of some sort of like tube pasta, like a rigatoni or penne or whatever. Basically use those as spacers in between the shrimp. And then the pasta just burns, but it doesn't matter. Dry pasta, in case that wasn't clear.
Yeah. That's a smart little tip, though.
Yeah, it's not bad. And I mean, a box of, a 2-pound box of pasta is what, $1? So
if you're like me and you got kids, you've probably got an infinite amount of pasta somewhere.
Yeah, it's around somewhere. Yeah. So, but you just something like that, and then that helps kind of space it out. That way you get everything cooked evenly. It's pretty
smart, man.
Nice. And it's cheap
heard that right here at the Lookout Cookout. I think we're just making this up. We know our facts.
Yeah, we know what we're doing. All these people say we don't.
I'm going to go back to my Ric Flair impersonation. That's all I got. Anyways, check out the website, again, for any of those, the tips and the actual full-blown recipe. Again, make it your own. Do what you like with it. Maybe you try it out and you got a neat tip that you thought was unique for yourself. Maybe you can tweet that or email that to us. Let us know how it turned out for you guys.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we love hearing feedback from the listeners on this kind of stuff, because honestly, if we keep doing this kind of segments on our own without getting anything, it's like we're shouting into a void and we start to go a little stir crazy.
We need some help somewhere down the road. Wait, as if we're not already crazy?
Good point. Solid point.
Anyways, you guys check it out. As always, lookoutcookout.com. You can find all the information on there for it in case you forget anything. But I think we're getting ready to start with the interview after this quick break.
Yeah, we'll throw it to a break, one of our sponsors, and then when we come back, we'll be in the studio with Miss Catherine Roth, General Manager of the Morehead City Marlins. Stick with us, guys.
Today's episode of the Lookout Cookout is brought to you by Lookout Adventures. If you're looking for a less crowded fishing excursion, if you want to hop from one of the necks to the Outer Banks' most beautiful barrier islands, stay on the boat for a personalized dolphin watch, or maybe just you want to book a private sunset cruise for you and that special someone, let Lookout Adventures be your guide. With many full and half-day options to choose from, there's an adventure waiting for everyone. For pricing, gift certificates, and more information, visit lookoutatventures.com. Okay, guys, welcome back. With the summertime fast approaching, certain things are sure to come to mind. I don't know about Levi, but there's definitely things that I think about when summertime rolls around.
Beaches, grilling.
Beaches.
That's it, right?
Summertime.
Yeah.
And it's a
Episode
blessing
done.
that we get to actually live in the area that we live in and enjoy the
Absolutely.
outdoors as much as we do. So, of course, with all those things coming up, everything is excited about, there's another thing that I think about with summertime, and that's our nation's national pastime. It's a little bit of baseball.
Ah, yes.
Yep, you know how that goes. And when you think of baseball, Morehead City, you may not already know about it, but those who have in the past few years, we actually have our own team right here in the area, the Morehead City Marlins. So we're here to talk with today with Miss Catherine Roth, the general manager from the Morehead City Marlins. She's going to help us fill in on the upcoming season, about their history a little bit, and basically educate us on anything we may not already know about our local team.
Which is a lot, I would imagine.
It's a lot. I mean, I always talk about it all the time that, as long as I was gone, I've just recently moved back to the area. So this is something that's popped up since I was gone, and I'm excited.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, old ball game. So thanks for being here with us, Miss Catherine. We appreciate you taking time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, yeah, not a problem.
It's my understanding, too, as of this recording, it's less than a month out from opening day. You guys are getting ready to start your season?
Yes, we are 26 days from opening day and 27 from our home opener.
I like how you just have that number.
Oh, I've had it for months. Yeah.
Yeah, so, depending on, we'll put this episode will definitely come out before the season starts, but May 26th is the season opener. May 27th is the home opener.
Yes,
Morehead.
7:05.
Okay. 7:05.
We'll touch on all that too. The field is right down 20th Street off Mayberry Loop Road.
Yep.
I don't have the address right in front of me, but we'll cover all that
sure
throughout the
she
interview.
knows it.
And
2714.
2714. There you go. We'll cover all that and some more throughout the whole conversation, guys. But as a local who's recently come back to the area, growing up as a kid, I always remembered making the drives to Kinston and seeing the Kinston Indians play. It's a minor league farm team that was in Kinston. I think they've since moved.
They folded, I think, just a few years ago.
Yeah,
I don't know if they moved or what happened, but I know they're no longer
whatever
the
the
Kinston
case may
Indians
be,
in the current form.
That's the one I remember as a kid growing up. Anybody that's a little farther away listening might know of the Mudcats or the Durham Bulls.
Mm-hmm.
As comparison with those farm teams and the Morehead City Marlins, though, it's a little different. Those are major league farm teams, and you guys are part of the Coastal Plain League.
Yes.
So that's a little different. That's collegiate players as compared to the minor league farm teams.
Yeah,
So like,
drafted
what
players,
exactly
stuff
is
like
the difference in comparison with the Coastal Plain League to a major league farm team?
Well, the difference is in affiliated ball, you're drafted in June by your team, and you're part of the MLB amateur draft. You get paid. That's a big part of it. But we are actually a collegiate team where schools from all over the nation send their guys to play with us and kind of just continue honing their skills over the summer, get them more at-bats, get them more innings to play. There's a ton of different leagues across the nation, but it's actually just all collegiate guys, mostly freshmen through juniors, and a lot of the times it's people think that we're affiliated with actually like the Miami Marlins or something,
Right.
and they always ask us, what level are you? Are you Double A? But we're nothing to do with Major League. It's
No
all
A's.
college. It's all amateur guys.
Right.
So that is the big thing.
Which is an important distinction, obviously just from a pay level, because like you said, these are college players, so by the regulations of the NCAA, they cannot be paid. And also, it's interesting to see because you're seeing guys who are really just developing their talent. I mean, there are, and this is not a sandlot ragtag league. Like, there are plenty of players who have been drafted out of the Coastal Plains League and have played in major leagues. So, these are just young players. There's no difference in talent or skill level or anything like that. It's just young guys.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we've had Chris Taylor, who's now with the Mariners, I believe. He was with us. He went to the University of Virginia, and they placed him here.
Yep.
We have a ton of guys that's kind of the situation. A guy we had last year, Cal Quantrill, is supposed to be like one of the top draft picks next year in his draft.
Right.
Who he played with us. So it's really cool to get to see them in that process and develop before they hit that level.
Right.
I grew up like a lot of supporting local bands and local music, and it kind of gives me that idea of like you get to see these players before they get big and everybody knows about them to some
Exactly.
degree. You
Yeah.
watch them literally develop before your eyes.
And you can
Yes.
really see it too when you see those players that you just know are going to be major league people.
absolutely.
And it's exciting to watch because Big Rock Stadium is a beautiful stadium. It's relatively new. It's only 5 years old, I guess, at this point. But it's just great to see these players in, kind of these smaller areas just killing it.
Absolutely. I mean, Chase McDonald, he's from East Carolina. He grew up in Greenville.
Yep.
He's with the Astros now, and he is like one of their big guys. He's doing fantastic with them. It's really cool to see a local guy who grew up close to here, who used to vacation here,
Yeah.
and he played with us, and now he is doing fantastic things at the next level. But he started with us.
Yeah.
So it's awesome to see.
It's got to be like a nice feather in your cap. Like I'm sure with any of the players, it's always nice to see them go on to do bigger and better things. But with Chase as a good example, he's more or less a local boy.
Yeah.
Right.
To see him and know that what he came from, and he came through you guys.
Right.
That's not to get too excited about it, but that's a nice little.
It's cool to be a
in the
part of
belt.
that experience for
Yeah.
him and be a part of his process.
And to be able to be a part of an experience like that in Morehead City is rare. And so that's really cool that the Marlins kind of afford that opportunity.
Absolutely.
That's what I've kind of enjoyed the most about the idea with the Marlins is, growing up, that wasn't always an option. You had to drive to go and see any of these things. So this is literally right in our backyard. You can go down the street and catch a game. So that's going to be really exciting for me as coming back to the area to go enjoy that.
Oh yeah, this will be your first season.
This will be my first season supporting the Marlins. So I'm excited.
It's fun.
I have to get all the gear and go out and support, right?
Yeah.
MHCMarlins.com.
Now we kind of touched it a little bit. It's a kind of relatively young history with the Marlins. Exactly how long have they been in the area? For maybe those a little unfamiliar.
Since 2010.
2010. I mean, that's not all that long ago.
Yeah,
It's only
5 years
five
ago.
years.
Right,
Yeah.
and that year they actually won the league.
Yeah.
The championship.
We just start out with the bang. That's always good.
So that was a pretty good way to come into it.
Now, was that anything like as far as sometimes teams will move cities or anything? Was that a fresh team 5 years ago when they started?
Was it a migrated team or was it like it was a
They
new
actually
franchise?
moved from New Bern. The Bengal family moved them. They were the New Bern River Rats.
I've actually heard that name before,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And the Bengal family moved them down here because of the area and just kind of what it could bring to the community and the ability to have that stadium there and all those things. So, yes, they are. They migrated from New Bern.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. And I mean, I'm happy to have them, and I can't blame them for the move. I mean,
No,
we
yeah,
have
I
a
mean,
nice area.
yeah, it's a it's a beautiful area being at the coast like this, so certainly don't blame them. So 2010 is when they kind of officially became the Morehead City Marlins, and I know the Big Rock Stadium where they play is that same age. Like that was built, not necessarily purpose built for that team, but built for a team, and it just kind of happened to work out. Because I know the field itself, I know. Early stages of development had started 10 12 years ago.
Right.
They had talked about doing something like that, so it's nice that it kind of worked out that here's a stadium and now here's a team to play in it.
Right, exactly.
Right, and speaking of all the history too, like as the team being here as of 2010, my understanding with doing a little bit of homework and whatnot is Mr. Puck O'Neill was one of the main folks who started getting the ball rolling as long ago as like 2003.
Yeah, something like that.
Or something.
Yeah. I remember seeing it in newspapers
yeah,
when
I
I was in high school.
That's a lot of planning and preparation and thought that went into that. I mean, 10 years later.
Yeah.
To actually be getting things rolling and getting the team going and getting them here. Which is why they have the field named for him.
Yeah.
Puck O'Neill
O'Neill Field.
Big Rock Stadium.
Yep.
Yes.
It's a mouthful. Probably refer to it as the Rock or Big Rock Stadium from here on out. Is there any history going that far back though? Any insight or how the earlier stages of the planning may have gotten started?
To be honest, I'm not sure from that standpoint. I know that it's something that the city and the community has always felt strongly about. They've really embraced the Marlins so much, and it's something that the community has really gathered around and really supported. So I think from that standpoint, just they had those plans to do it, and then having the Marlins want to come in and do it just kind of really kicked that off, and just made it as if, why wouldn't we do it now?
Yeah.
Sort of thing. So from that standpoint, it was definitely something that Morehead City has been great about.
It definitely it seemed like it was a very much a like if you build it they will come situation. Like they wanted something, a minor league team or whatever, they wanted something here, and so they just kind of started. I know from everything I've read, Puck O'Neill was a big financial supporter, as was Big Rock, the Big Rock tournament people, and then the city of Morehead I know was very influential in getting it rolled out. So I mean, it really was the city and the community supported it and they wanted it to happen, so it just kind of did.
Yes, exactly.
I got to give you a personal kudos too. I wanted to work
a Field of Dreams
reference. And I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do it.
That was a good one.
Build it,
you set me up perfectly.
So we spoke a little bit about the players as well. With them being collegiate players and NCAA rules, and as little as I know or understand about that, I understand you can't pay them to be playing. So I understand a lot has to go into is just as far as the planning for them to be here, like for the length of the season, and to of course be in the area for practice and the actual games and whatnot. Tell me a little bit about the families you were telling us about, as far as the sponsor host families that put these players up for the length of the season. Like, what's the process on that? And
so they actually we put out a thing, saying we have these players, and they reach out to us, and it's all based on them, and they're really just so phenomenal about it, and they really embrace these players and interns and our front office staff as their own.
Right. Goes back to the community involvement
right.
we were
And
talking about.
And it's great because it's, a lot of these kids, some of them, they're coming from California from their schools, and they have to come directly here, so they don't have that time to go home to their families themselves. So it's great for the boys to get to have that sense of family while they're here and really feel at home somewhere. It makes the experience so much easier for them, and truly, as cliche as it sounds, we could not do it without them, because if we don't have places to put these boys, we don't have a team.
Right.
And I mean, they really make us able to do what we do, and they're fantastic about it. And, we have actually a Marlins club, which is essentially our booster club, which is mostly our host families too, that come together and they feed the boys before and after their games on the road. I mean, they're unbelievable. They're awesome. But yeah, those host families. I actually lived with one for 2 years, and they're still my family here today. I mean, they're fantastic. It's like I have 3 little brothers now. So it's really great what these host families do, and it's the generosity for them to open their homes is unbelievable.
See, that's just incredible, because you were talking about like Chase earlier as a local guy, and then it's the local league, but you don't even think about players coming from as far away as California. That's a long way to be from home, especially for the length of time that they're away from home.
Absolutely.
It could be detrimental to their mental health as well as just their physical performance, I imagine, if they're somewhere uncomfortable and you don't have these wonderful host families.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we have guys from Canada. Last year we had 2 guys that were here from Canada that were playing with us, and it's just like this is something that, it's another part of that baseball experience. But, even at college, they have their roommates and their baseball family there, but just to have, a mom and dad and a sister or a brother that you come home to. Right, exactly. Yeah. It's just an awesome aspect that we are able to provide for them.
Yeah, it's like that college aspect is, they're a little better prepared, I guess, in the sense that, you have the college funding and, the school funds everything. With you guys, it's all, public or donation based.
Well, and I think going back, that kind of lends to the whole thing of giving the league an air of legitimacy as far as the players. There are some local players on the team, which is great. People from ECU and things like that. But these are players from all over the nation, all over the continent, really, at this point. And so this is not just local, kind of random guys playing. Like, these are legitimate athletes.
Absolutely.
They are kind of the best of the best for their group, and so the fact that they're all coming here to play, which is great, but then also the sense of community that you get from really Morehead City as a whole, kind of just taking in all of these people so that they can be here to play, which is just fantastic.
Oh yeah, I mean, we had one host family, and this is a common thing. They traveled to Alabama to go see their player play. I mean, they really, it's not just that 3-month period. I mean, they go all over the country to see these boys play afterwards and keep in touch with them. And I mean, it's fantastic.
It's not a temporary thing.
Right. You really are a part of that family now.
It's like you were talking about your host family. You're their kid as well. You're going to go out and support any of your other kids. Why would it be any different that you wouldn't support the one that's staying with you? So, I mean, that's amazing. With the players in particular and the game as well, for anybody that doesn't follow or know about the Coastal Plains League, it's a wooden bat league as opposed to a lot of these players are coming out of the colleges playing with aluminum bats. Is that any kind of factor? Like, have you talked to the players? Did anyone mention the transition from one to the other? Is that difficult? Or?
It definitely plays into it. I would say, especially at the beginning, just kind of switching over from the aluminum to the wood, even though in their normal college seasons, they actually just change kind of the bats with them to make them have less of that pop just for safety reasons.
Right.
But still, it still is such that gap. But the good thing is that when they go to the next level and do get to play with affiliated clubs, all is wooden
They're already
bat.
getting that experience.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
To a degree.
And that's the big thing. And that's, when a scout comes to watch someone play and gets to see them using those wood bats and they are so successful with that, that's an even more positive attribute that they have. So yeah, it is definitely in the beginning. It's kind of a pitcher's advantage a little bit,
Right.
but they kind of even it out, and once they get used to it, it's just like normal. But yeah, it is definitely a difference. That's for sure.
I mean, we got to make sure that the pitchers get that extra advantage because throwing 90 to 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Right, they don't have it as it is.
And that's kind of goes back to just really talking about the Coastal Plains League is, I mean, really you could consider it almost like a transition league. Like it's the league, and leagues like this are what help college players prepare to really make that jump to farm teams and major leagues and things like that. And I mean, what's interesting about that is you get to see, they're young anyway, they're college players, so you get to see them develop, but you also get to see them kind of on the fly, like adapt to these changes like wood bats and things like that. So it's really interesting to see. As a sports fan, like regardless of what sport you are, if you are a true fan of a sport, it's interesting to see the players develop and grow, and there's really no better way to do that instead of the college age. I mean, once you get to the major leagues, once a guy's there for a few years, he kind of falls into his groove, whether it's a good or a bad thing. But it's the college
huge
age
foundation to the whole
you're seeing that
development.
foundation be built in leagues like this. So if you're a fan of baseball or sports in general, I think something like this is the best thing to watch.
Yeah, and I think it's also important to note that we are actually the second-ranked college summer league in the nation.
Oh, wow.
So it's not, I mean, as I said before, there are a ton of leagues across the country.
Sure.
But the Coastal Plain League is actually like second ranked. So I think that even plays more so into that, because the guys that you're playing, the chances of them getting to play at the next level is significantly higher than some of the other leagues, just because of how it's set up. I mean, the competition in our league is very, very good.
Yeah, which it just contributes to everyone else improving
Right.
to a kind of match, which just makes the games that much more entertaining.
Absolutely.
This is a lot about the Marlins and the Coastal Plains League in general too. It's almost like you guys are being sought out, because I mean, they could go play at one of those other leagues, across the country, but the fact that they're seeking you guys out and trying to come play here because they know that it's going to improve their game and get their chances, if that's what they're trying to do, and go to the majors that much closer. I mean, that's a big tip of the cap to you guys.
Yeah,
that
it's
seek you out.
great. And our league is very good at just across the board. We have 15 teams now, and they're fantastic at keeping that professional atmosphere and making sure that any player that comes here is treated just as their coach at that program is going to want them to. And we make sure that they get the best experience possible and get everything they can possibly get from it. And that's just honestly a standard that the league is set for their teams. And it's really kind of, this is how it is. And that's the only way we're going to do it. So it's fantastic to have that bar set. And I think that plays a big role into why we're able to be where we are in the rankings, because it's just, those are the standards that they've set for us.
Which, I mean, and that is a testament to the higher ups and the people that run it, but also a testament to all of the players, all of the people at the individual teams. I mean, the league as a whole, of course, is highly ranked, but that only happens if every team, including the Marlins, really step up to that standard.
Everybody can have that goal in mind, but to actually achieve it and be doing things to go forward with it is a testament to everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Which is, it's pretty neat. That's the whole thing with this entire conversation that I'm appreciative of learning, is it's easy just to think that you've got a local ball team to just go and you can go and enjoy the game. It's local entertainment, but you're actually making a difference in all these players' lives, their future, things of that nature. So, I mean, it's not just a game, so to speak, as much as it's a big stepping stone in a lot of folks' lives.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely just go and enjoy it as a game, but if you wanted to get deeper into...
It's so much more than that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And with those families and the players that we've been talking about too, is there anywhere that people could go, or a website they can sign up, or anything if they want to help participate or contribute somehow? I mean, we'll go over ticket prices and how we can get those and go to actual games and stuff. But sometimes it's hard for individuals and families to go to every single game or travel to see an away game. But they still might want to participate and try and help with what you guys are doing for the team and as the players. Is there somewhere they could go to sign up or contribute somehow?
Absolutely. Our website, www.mhcmarlins.com, it has all the links on there to fill out an application and that process to become a host family. Also, another great way is our Marlins Club, and that is a lot of the times the people in there are host families, but you don't have to be one. It's just it's actually the perfect way you just described it, of someone who is unable to be at every game or do certain things, but they want to contribute and they want to give back, and that is a fantastic way to do so. So either our website or just coming into our team store down at the waterfront, and we can kind of set it up, and any way that someone wants to give back, we are more than thankful for that, and we will make sure that it can happen.
Sounds like being a part of the Marlins Club too, not to intimidate anybody that's listening. Just because you're in the Marlins Club doesn't mean you have to be a host family member.
Right.
Yeah. No, yeah, absolutely not. Yeah. And that's the big thing is, yes, they have those host families, but it's really just people who love baseball and love the Marlins and what we're doing. And, if they're unable to be a host family, that's completely fine. And it gives them a way to still interact with those players and be a part of it and give back. So it's fantastic what they're doing.
Are there any kind of neat functions or anything that you, as a member of the Marlins Club, that they could look forward to? Anything that we can help garner some interest?
Well, we're going to do a special batting practice for the Marlins Club. They'll get to take it on our field with us.
Very cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a fun time. Yeah.
That's some brave souls. I don't know.
Yeah, no,
thank you. This many years since my high school baseball career, I don't know that I'd feel comfortable getting on the field. I would gladly go and watch, though.
Yeah.
Right. It'll be very entertaining.
Entertaining.
Yeah.
We'll go into that. It would be embarrassing if it was me, but
it's entertaining for everyone else.
Exactly. We mentioned tickets and the locations, the websites and stuff. What's the approximate price? I don't know if it fluctuates any or if it's changed from past years, but what's tickets going for right now for home games?
The general admission ticket is about $7, and then children 5 to 12 years old, they're $5. Senior citizen and military every game are $6, but then we have military Mondays every single Monday, and we're actually with that all military with your active duty ID get in free. And their dependents get in for a discounted price as well. So it's something that we are very much trying to reach out to our military community more, and
big part of the local area.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, other than the beach during the summer, to find a family-oriented place to go to with that is an affordable thing to do, it's kind of hard. I mean, just period.
Absolutely.
That you can bring your 3-year-old, but also bring your 14-year-old.
Right.
So we're trying to reach out to them more and kind of make sure that they are able to get out to the games, and we can appreciate them as our community more.
And I mean, $7 for a general admission, that's cheaper than most anything else that you're going to do that's not free.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's cheaper than a movie.
Yeah, definitely. And I've been to quite a few games in the past, and tickets are completely reasonably priced. And also, kind of, it's the old cliche that everything at a baseball game is so expensive as far as concessions, but it's really not the case at the Marlins, just because I mean it's a local team. Everything is priced accordingly, and I mean you can go. Me and my wife went to quite a few games last year, and I mean between the two of us with tickets and concessions, we didn't spend that much money, and it's fun. And also the money is going to something that is part of the community, and it really helps. If we keep going to games, it will hopefully keep the Marlins here for a long time.
Right.
So
yeah, we try to keep everything reasonably priced. I mean, like you said, it's that stigma almost that these baseball stadiums, they're so expensive when they are, but we try to, I mean, this is not a major league field, and we understand that these our fan base is a very regular fan base. I mean, they are at every single one of our games, and we're not going to make it so that they're having to spend ridiculous amounts of money to come enjoy a game.
Right.
Even our Thursday nights, we have dollar drinks.
Yeah.
So that's, from water, sodas to beer for the older people. So we try to make it so that it is a very affordable, fun place to be, regardless of what age you are.
How many games is it in the season?
28.
28. And
Yes.
is that split evenly home and away usually, or?
Well, let me rewind. 28 home games.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
That's, 28 games throughout the course of about 2-3 months?
From May 26th till August 3rd is our
Okay.
regular season.
Yeah.
I was looking at the calendar on the website yesterday, and I mean, baseball tends to be a typically longer season than most sports.
Right, and a lot of games in that time.
I was just amazed, like their schedule. I mean, they're playing a
It's
game
packed.
almost like sometimes 6 days a week.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if there's a time that it runs into 7 days a week, but I mean that's a full schedule, and this is from end of May till August. So these guys are playing.
They're playing with the
every
same
single day.
frequency per day as major league teams, just shorter season.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we jam those games into it, and even more so from the players. But people, and even sometimes the players don't realize that my intern staff and those, I mean, they don't get those days off.
Right.
So and when they are working even more crazier hours, and I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not just the players; it's
Right.
everybody that goes behind the team.
Yeah, I mean those interns and all, they get there at 9 a.m. every game day, where the players, they get to get there, 1 o'clock for
Right.
early work. So
Come in, get changed, get warmed up.
yeah. So
They
even
got it so easy compared to everybody else.
so even more so, making it all happen, going back with the host family is not able to do it without them, but without those, intern staff and the game day staff, even just for the games, I mean, they put the work in that no one sees, and that really, really make
The
it
unsung
possible.
heroes, if you will.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's awesome. That's back to the community again. I hate to keep being a broken record, but I mean, without all the cogs in this wheel, I mean, there wouldn't be a team. You guys wouldn't be here.
100%.
So, thank you guys to everybody that participates and works and everything you do behind the scenes. It's appreciated on our end. Again, it's not just showing up and enjoying the entertainment of a game. There's a lot involved in it.
Yeah, there's a lot to go into you being able to enjoy that game.
Yes, and happy to do it, though.
Oh, that's awesome. Another thing, too, we'll repeat, and we'll plug it again at the end. We'll make sure that we have all the links up on our website as well. But you can go to mhcmarlins.com
Yes.
to get tickets. You said you can go to the office downtown as well?
Yes.
That's right on I understand, the Morehead City waterfront.
Yeah, right on Evans Street.
Evans
Yes,
Street.
right across from Jack's and Ruddy Duck, and right by Sammy's. It's in that little strip. We actually are moving one office down. So we are usually at 508D Evans Street, but now we're at 508E Evans Street. That move is being started this weekend. So
By the time this airs, it'll have all changed. So anybody listening that's been before to pick up tickets, and
Just
you
go one door down.
Yeah, you go again, and you're like, where did they move to?
What
Look
happened?
to your
Right or
You're
left.
right.
Right, yeah. Just go one door to the left, and
go
you'll be
next
good.
door and ask where they're at, and you'll be there.
Yeah.
So there's a couple opportunities to pick up tickets. Definitely go and support that, guys. Again, there'll be the links on all our websites to go and find that. We'll make that as easy as we can for everybody. We may have already answered this question a little bit, at least maybe alluded to it a little bit, but reading your bio on the Marlins website, you're a recent transplant from Virginia back, and you can help me out when you moved here.
I actually officially moved here in September.
Oh, like this past year?
Yes, I am from Hampton Roads, Virginia. It's a very small town called Poquoson. And I went to Virginia Tech in Blacksburg and graduated in May. So my first, I moved here was in September.
Awesome.
So, but I used to come here all the time as a kid growing up, vacationing with one of my very close family friends. And I mean, the area is just absolutely beautiful.
So before the official move, were you making the commute, so to speak?
Or you had the host family before,
yes,
right?
I was here over the summer as the director of operations and kind of worked with the All-Star game and that tournament.
That's a heck of an event to have to do on the kind of your first season as a director.
Right, yeah. So I my first year with the Marlins was in 2013. I came down as an intern, and then 2014 I came back down as the director of ops, and then now I'm here as the general manager. So
moving right on.
Hard work pays off.
So
yes.
So at the start of the 2016 season, we'll talk to you again, and you'll be owner president.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see what Buddy says
owner,
about
president, active team player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mascot.
Oh gosh.
If you don't mind, it's maybe a little on the personal side, but how exactly do you fall into? I mean, obviously you mentioned a little bit of progression from how you started to where you're at now as the general manager. But I mean, like, I don't remember job fair day in school being the general manager for
collegiate summer baseball league. Yeah.
So how do you? How do you
Yeah.
fall into this?
How does that come up?
Well, like I said, I'm from Hampton Roads, so my first year as a freshman in college, I interned with the team in Hampton, Virginia, who's in the Coastal Plain League as well, the Pilots. Okay. I interned with them my first 2 years, and that's actually kind of how I met our owner, Buddy Bingle. And kind of started interacting with him when he would come up to the games. And I've always known that baseball was my passion. To the point that it was kind of goofy for a girl to be that passionate about it.
I didn't want to call it out. I mean, that's
it's okay. It's honestly something that I'm okay with.
In case it wasn't obvious, you are a girl.
Yeah, just so you know. But like I have a baseball family. My brother played at UNC Wilmington and was drafted by the Orioles. So it's always been something that is in almost my blood.
Right.
My dad is a huge fan, so by the time I was 3 years old, we were going to Camden Yards every year. And baseball is just, I've always been just mesmerized. So I started my internships young, and I learned so much when I was working with the Pilots. I honestly quote Henry Morgan, their owner, on a daily basis here. It's fantastic. The Morgan family taught me a lot about how to run a game, but how to run an organization and how to do it the right way. And really that community involvement and the feel of that is really something that that family was so strong on.
Not to just run it from a cutthroat business standpoint.
Right. And he's just great about it. And they actually have their owner is Henry, and then the son is their head coach, and they just won 2 back-to-back championships. So it was a great first organization for me to work with and kind of get that experience.
Right, very family oriented organization as well.
Yes, and so then in 2013, Buddy and I kind of were talking, and he said, would you like to come down and intern with us for the summer?
Something you were doing right. Right?
Yeah. Kind of, so
we can toot your own horn on the Lookout Cookout. We don't mind.
So I came down here and got to work with Team USA when they came in the U.S. Military All-Stars in the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Awesome. And it was something that I learned so much that year, and it was an incredible experience for me, and something that, regardless of where I would have gone from that year after, it would have been crucial to my career.
Right. I would imagine anything that you could have gone on to after that, with baseball related or not. It sounds like a lot of nice lessons and experiences that you probably carry for the rest of your life.
Absolutely. And one thing that I learned, our owner is a very, very hardworking man. He not only has our team, but he also has restaurants in New Bern still. And there is never a moment that you are working that he is not working, and there's never a moment that you're working that he's not working harder. So that's one thing that work ethic, it really inspires you to keep going.
Right.
And then the next year we had our All-Star game, and they asked if I would come back to help kind of run it. And it was an awesome experience. We had Sam Hunt come out and do our concert, who is now a huge country music guy.
Yeah.
And at the time, it just happened to be fantastic timing because our owner just kind of found him working with WRNS, the radio station, and he was kind of up and coming. Yeah. And they said, this guy's got good stuff. Let's do him. And now it's like
almost like a lot of these players we were talking about that, if they're starting out their career and they go on to bigger and better things, you caught this guy,
Absolutely.
right on the cusp of making that big breakthrough.
Yeah, so it was, that was another very cool experience that you got to see through baseball, that it was just amazing to pair the two. And, Sam was awesome with the fans. He was walking around the stadium, hanging out with them. It was really,
signing
really
autographs.
Awesome. Oh, yeah, and the funniest thing was no one knew who he was originally when he was just walking before he sang.
Right.
People just thought he was walking around with a backpack. Like,
just
they didn't realize,
Minutes later, they see him out on the field.
Yeah, and they're like, oh my gosh. So that was cool. But yeah, and then I came down this fall, and it's been unbelievable. It's been amazing. So
also, anything since you've been here that you definitely are either looking forward to, haven't had a chance to try out, or just something that you just love so much that you can't do enough of?
I really like the seafood festival. Yeah. That was fun.
It's October. I'm counting it down too.
Yeah, that was a great time. I'm trying to think. Honestly,
what else we got coming up? We got Boat for Music Festival coming up in a week.
Depending on when you listen to this,
may have already happened.
Yeah, it may have already happened.
Big Rock tournament's coming up in about
Big Rock,
about a month.
that is awesome. That my first experience with that, I was blown away. I mean, seeing them pull up those fish, I mean, it's incredible. That's a very, very cool thing.
Yeah, and that's another kind of, it's a big event, but it's very community based.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, people love it. Yeah.
With Big Rock, as a matter of fact, while we're on that subject and their involvement, is there any other way that, like, they obviously helped with the stadium?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any involvement as far as like when the tournament comes around? Like, are you guys a big supporter of that? Do you?
Well, a lot of times it kind of coincides with when we're playing.
Oh yeah, because it's usually first week of June.
Yeah,
and
so
that's literally
the
like
heart of your season.
Yeah, it's like right after the beginning of the season. Yeah, so it's kicking off.
Yeah, so we like to promote it during our games,
Right.
and let people know, because a big part of our fan base too is those tourists or the people who are here for the summer from Raleigh, Cary, that area.
Yeah,
a lot of people have summer homes in that area. So.
Right, and we work a lot with the board members of Big Rock that people probably don't even realize the association originally with them, but they're very big supporters of the Marlins. So in more ways that are sometimes not as evident maybe that we work with them, but they're very, very supportive of what we do, and obviously the stadium in general, but they're very big supporter of the Marlins and making sure that the community is as supportive as well.
Right, and I think that's we continue to harp on it, but it's important there. That is really the community aspect of this area. I mean, all of these organizations, the Marlins, Big Rock, Jarrett Bay, I mean, they're all involved with each other in some way, helping out, and I mean, that's something that I think you hear a lot from new businesses and new organizations that start is you never really hear like, oh, I started a business and I was shunned by the people around me. Like everyone wants to help.
Right, absolutely. I mean, Linda Wright, that's a perfect example. She is a huge supporter with Big Rock. She works so much with them.
Yep.
She's working with us. I mean, it's just those sort of connections and tie-ins that it all really ties in together, and it pulls the community together so much. There's always a connection somewhere.
Yeah.
Regardless of how it works in its way, there's always something.
People want to be involved and they want to help in some form or fashion. And so when you get people like Big Rock and kind of bigger name recognition, that just gives people an easier way to help, and it's a more of a possibility. But yeah, people love helping around here.
Yeah, they really do,
which is great.
And I like that too. Like with a lot of our conversations on the podcast, and then you being here today, it's from the naive standpoint, from the outside looking in, it's easy just to see how these things come and go. Depending if when they take place and whatnot, and when you're with you in particular, the season starts, things of that nature. But to find out and learn along the way through these conversations how many of these things overlap.
Yeah,
a lot of people may not realize it, and I mean, I know I certainly didn't. So it's kind of interesting to educate myself on that a little bit, and we appreciate everybody's involvement, because otherwise
really
any
is.
one of these things may not be going on or at least running as smooth as they do.
Yeah, it is a multi-legged stool that everything's just holding everything else up.
And I didn't even realize it probably to the extent that it was until I started going in and meeting all these people and these business owners of these local businesses, and you don't realize how much, yes, they are a business owner for their specific business, but there's so much more to this community, and sometimes it gets overshadowed.
It's easy to think of them just as the owner of said business, and that's all they do on a day-to-day basis, but it's more than that.
And it's great. It's fantastic. I mean, they're all about it. Like you said, they're all about giving back to the community and making Morehead City the best possible community it can be.
Yeah, that really is like the one focus of everyone that has a stake in this area. They want to make the Carter County just as good as it can possibly be, and they want to make it a destination for everyone.
And I should say, it's Morehead and Newport. We have fantastic connections with. Havelock, we're really, really working on reaching out to, especially the military there. The Havelock Chamber of Commerce and Military Affairs Committee has been fantastic. Newport, their mayor has been awesome. We work with their Little League. That's a great place for our host families. We have a significant amount from there.
Right.
So it's not only Morehead City. Obviously, that's the bulk of it, but it's, Beaufort, Atlantic Beach, Newport, Havelock. It's just Carteret County in general.
Yeah,
it starts at home, right here in Morehead City, but you guys are starting to reach out and branch out. And
I mean, they're so supportive. So it's nice to see that they are so supportive of something that doesn't necessarily happen right in their city, but they understand that's still part of our community.
Yeah, it's still their community. Yeah.
I mean, let's be real. I mean, you're talking about like the havoc in the military. That's really it's up the street. It's not that far.
Yeah,
right,
no, yeah.
right.
It's easy to disregard them on the surface when you just think Morehead City Marlins and Morehead City, but you start branching out. Those are our very close neighbors.
Yeah,
and
right.
the military being such a big thing in this area, and you want to support that and help them out as much for everything that they do for us. So it's great that you guys are reaching out like that.
Yes,
Yeah. You have to go pretty far for it to be considered not part of this community anymore.
Yeah, honestly, you do. Yeah, that's why. I mean, we're sitting here talking about Morehead City, and that obviously is such a strong part. But like I said, Newport, Beaufort, Atlantic Beach. I mean, they're awesome, and they do everything they can to be just as strongly involved as Morehead City itself.
Right.
Yeah, it kind of makes me think too, is as much as it's local community, and we're talking about the reach. How many people we talked about with vacation homes or that come here on vacation on a yearly basis. So I mean, even if they live somewhere as far as the mountains or another state or Virginia for yourself,
right.
It's still such a big part of our community.
Yeah, they're still part of this community when they're here.
Yeah, just because they're in Raleigh or the mountains or
Yeah.
wherever they may be at doesn't mean that they're not. Their heart, part of their heart isn't here.
Yeah,
with
absolutely.
us throughout the year.
Absolutely, it's a perfect way to
That's
put
got to
it.
be nice too. Coming from Virginia is
Oh yeah.
welcoming as everything is. I had to make that transition a little easier.
Yeah,
I would hope.
and everyone is so welcoming with everything. And when I first moved down here, it was like everyone that, even if they didn't really even know my name, they just knew my face from being at the games. It was, if you ever need anything, please let us know. If you want to come to dinner one night to have a family dinner with it, and it's just so nice.
Yeah,
it's like it makes that move just so much easier because I'm very close with my family, and they come down as much as they can. And like I said, I have my host family, but just having the support, it's really, we call it like a Marlins family.
Yeah,
and it really is a family, and it's just incredible to see these people that. They don't know me from Adam, and they're coming up, and it's like anything you need, like, if you need any help with the Marlins or moving in or anything whatsoever, please let us know. And it's just awesome.
It's like having a couple hundred host
yeah,
families.
exactly. Yeah.
It's just heartwarming to hear. I can sit here and
great.
talk about that all day long. But on that note, I'm gonna get a little personal, like something I want to know about, because I've wondered pretty much like my whole life. When it comes to the games, and you guys pick somebody to throw out the inaugural pitch on the opening day, or you sing the national anthem,
I hear just like a subtle suggestion coming in this.
No, I'm more curious about the functions of it than actually trying to. You do not want me singing anything, my friend, much less the national anthem in front of a crowd full of people. But what's the process that goes behind that? How do you guys pick out who's going to throw out that first pitch on opening home game day?
Well, it kind of depends. It kind of depends, like if a specific business is our game sponsor that
Right.
night, they do, or just kind of people call in and say, hey, my grandson's going to be there tonight.
Just if a
could
situation
right.
pops up, yeah.
National anthem singers, a lot of time it's, hey, can I sing the national anthem at your game? And absolutely.
Yeah.
Or, sometimes it'll be a last minute edition, and we'll find out we have a veteran in the stands who was there, and we want to recognize and kind of honor
right.
without us knowing prior to the game that who he was or she was, or that they were going to be there, and that sort of thing. But just kind of, our All-Star game, we had the governor throw out the first pitch. So it just kind of depends, but we should have the Cookout come and throw out a first.
Yeah, Levi actually put me up to asking about this.
Yeah, it was all my idea.
He's been working all off season on his arm and his fastball.
Yeah, I'll gladly throw out the first pitch if you sing the national anthem.
Is it too late to trade?
Yeah, no, it's locked in.
As shoddy as my arm feels, I'm more confident in
your
my
arm feels
pitching
better than your
ability than my
mouth.
singing ability.
It's okay. We have a ton of in-game promotions, so you could do the dizzy bat race, and y'all could do it together.
Okay, dizzy bat race is
perfect.
more my
absolutely
speed.
do that. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
As the mascot,
We'll
can I wear the mascot uniform?
You know what? I would probably make that happen just for you.
Look how Cookout. We know people in high places already.
Oh, yeah.
I love this podcast.
Making moves.
So another thing I've noticed just in general with sports across the country and things that are going on, there's almost been this like trend among different stadiums and from sport to sport teams and things.
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to outdo one another with like the craziest concession item.
My gosh,
Which was it? The Arizona Diamondbacks, they have the D-Bat dog, which is like the $25.
Oh, God.
It's so much. It's like a fried corn dog with like jalapenos and cheese, and I think another corn dog on it, probably. Yeah, it's just the worst.
But I mean, they even have like an Instagram and Twitter feed for MLB food now.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's like insane. I mean, some of the stuff they put on there is just unbelievably
it's really
delicious.
It's not even a lot of it's not even that creative. It's just let's just take everything we have.
The amount alone of something.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of which, do you guys have anything like either already kind of in that realm, or you maybe thinking
in the
about
works?
something?
Well,
Any
if we
inside
have
scoop on
something
it?
in the works. Oh yeah, this can be an inside scoop.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah.
Hard hitting journalism from
Yeah,
the
y'all
Lookout
get the
Cookout.
exclusive. So we're gonna do kind of a nacho this year item that is going to be.
Got me listening already.
Yeah. I'm sold.
It's gonna be essentially a whole bunch of goodness thrown into nachos.
Basically everything.
Oh yeah,
everything
so,
but the kitchen sink, kind of.
Yeah, Fayetteville actually
They serve
does
it in a kitchen sink.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Fayetteville actually does a similar item, and they have they call it junkyard nachos, and they have French fries, chili. I mean, just the most random things that you would. Some of it's like that doesn't go in nachos, but it's so good. It's just so good.
Yeah.
So we're gonna try to do kind of a similar item, but put a Morehead City twist on it.
Nice.
And maybe try and add a seafood item.
That would
yeah, like a shrimp or something.
I love fish tacos, so I'm thinking like some kind of seafood nachos.
Yes.
Sounds awesome.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
exactly. And put it in something. We're gonna try to have like a helmet.
Yeah.
The souvenir helmet, so you get to keep that.
So you get a little takeaway gift.
Yeah, so it's like a
delicious food.
dynamic duo kind of it. Yeah. So
any working names or anything special that we're gonna call
we're
it?
trying to come up with the name. We're trying to and make it, like I said, kind of signature to Morehead City.
Yeah. May we suggest the Lookout Cookout Nacho?
Ooh.
Well, when you're volunteering names, I was gonna volunteer. Obviously, post Dizzy Bat.
Sure.
Relay race.
Sure.
You don't want to do that before the Dizzy Bat.
Yeah. No.
But if you need people to like taste test as you're, working
my
the recipe out, I gotta say, I think we probably have the best palates of anybody in the area.
By best, you mean most open? Because I feel like our taste testing will just be like, oh yeah, that's good.
Well, see, that's how we differ, because no matter what they put in front of me, like, nope, still need some work. Because then they'll keep feeding me.
Right. Strategy. That's
See
strategy.
how I work? Little insight.
So you like the seafood idea, though?
I do like the idea. I mean,
We'd be
coming
all
into
about
it, thinking about this question, I was thinking about like some kind of ridiculous, like
Hot dog.
2-pound, 18-pound Lookout Cookout hot dog
Ooh.
ridiculousness. I don't know.
But I just assumed there'd be shrimp on it because there's shrimp.
Everywhere.
Shrimp should be on everything because
I had
shrimp
my
are delicious.
first shrimp burger
Get out of here.
when
Your
I
first
came to
one?
Morehead City. I didn't know it was even
A thing?
A thing.
They're so good.
Oh my gosh, it's delicious.
So do we ask where she got it from, or we just leave that?
Do you have to ask?
Yeah, we'll leave it.
I haven't had a bad
Is
one
it
in there.
even a
yet, so it really
question,
doesn't
though?
matter.
No, it's really not.
L's.
Yeah, it's absolutely else.
Yeah.
I felt like I knew the answer.
That's what I was told. The first
throwing a
one.
softball question in the baseball interview.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. If it's the first shrimp burger you've ever had in your life, L's is where you
That's
go.
the
Yeah.
place to go. I'm glad you enjoyed. I'm sure you have been or will be back for more.
Oh
Oh,
my gosh,
imagine.
yes. And I tried one at Sammy's. It was delicious. Clausen's in Beaufort.
Market research for the nachos.
Exactly.
Smart girl. She's got it all figured out. Now we're talking about food some more.
Yeah. And then we were going to do a cooking segment for this episode, so I assume we'll probably just do our version of whatever this is.
Perfect.
And then you can just use that.
I feel like they're just going to embarrass us if we attempt some form of nachos on the grill, though.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll probably should stay away from that. But it all sounds delicious.
I'm happy with it no matter what.
So with the upcoming season, we mentioned earlier, May 26th, depending on when this episode actually airs. The opening game is on May 26th with the home game the very next day, May 27th.
Yes.
It was the...
Forest City Owls.
Thank you.
Nailed it.
All right. So make sure you guys get your tickets for that. I can imagine... I mean, this close to the season, tickets are already available, so you probably want to go ahead and get it.
Oh, yeah.
When it comes to tickets, like, what's the stadium capacity? Like, what's the sellout crowd for you guys?
Honestly, because of our setup, we do not really sell out.
Oh, really?
Because it's general admission seating.
Oh, good point. Yeah.
And then we have our beer garden that allows us even more.
Yeah, that's the thing. Since you've not actually,
I've gone by the field, but
you've not been inside. There is like the normal grandstands, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's the beer garden, which has kind of like the sideline seating and things like that. So yeah, I mean, I think official capacity is somewhere in the neighborhood of 2,000, maybe just under that, but I think you could probably fit more than that if you wanted to.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
But yeah, it just allows, because like I said, I mean, that general mission, and then the beer garden, we actually have, we bring in another standalone bleachers for down the right field line. So we really have pretty much free reign with as far as that goes.
Right.
Obviously there are times that, fire code and all that we have to be careful of for safety.
There are safety regulations.
Yeah, definitely. But for the most part, we pretty much, that's one thing that's great when fans call and say, like, do you still have tickets to this game? Like, I promise you will get a ticket, whether if you buy it online, come into our store, or buy it at the gate, you will get into our game.
You'll get in.
Yeah.
And that's reassuring, too. I mean, for families, sometimes I've got two young little girls along with my wife, and sometimes it's hard to plan ahead. So almost the day of, if you show up at the gate, you're going to get in and see the game. If you're there.
Yeah.
And I have an indecisive wife, so it's hard. I don't have any kids, but it's hard enough to plan ahead with, oh, honey, what do you want to do this weekend? I have no idea. It's like, well, it's Friday. Like, maybe we should decide.
It is the weekend.
Yeah, it's the weekend now. Maybe we should figure out what we're going to do in 24 hours.
Right.
We'll see. All right, whatever. And that's me being on the Morehead City Marlins website buying tickets.
Right.
So thankfully for Miss Caroline and the team that you're able to do that last minute.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, that's the nice thing is, and I was looking too at tickets themselves. You can buy individual tickets online, but then you also buy kind of like the packages and season tickets as well, which are very reasonably priced for what they are.
Yeah, and the cool thing about what we do is, we have the Flexbook ticket package where you get 12 tickets to any game, and you can use them however you like.
So you don't have to schedule when you purchase them. You just purchase that bulk ticket, and then you show up and use them as
If
as
you
wish.
have, two families that are in town vacationing together and they want to use all 12 at one game, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But we also, with our season tickets, we actually allow those to be used as flex tickets as well.
Oh, that's awesome.
So they are dated and they have the specific games, but it allows for, if you miss a game, you don't lose out on that ticket.
Right.
So you still can use that ticket at another game.
And that's super convenient because there's not a lot of places that do that sort of thing. You miss the date and you're out the money.
Yeah, you're
like,
right, exactly. So, that helps kind of get them every game possible that they're not going to waste any money on a game that they can't make.
So you may buy, one season ticket package and then you end up maybe going to half the games, but if you go to half the games, you can go two people instead of one.
Exactly.
That's great, and that's a convenience that a lot of people don't afford to use. So,
and I can imagine that's transferable as well. So, like, even if like a family knows that they can only make it to a certain amount of games with their neighbors.
Right. There is no name. If you choose to give those tickets away, then that's perfectly fine.
It's the ticket.
Right. Exactly.
I think that needs emphasis, just because a lot of places don't make that an option. So I mean, the fact that you guys are going the extra mile to make it as convenient for everybody and make it as easy to just show up and have a good time. And I mean, I won't call anybody in particular, but you can definitely imagine with different sports teams and similar situations, it's easy for people to just try and gouge families for their money,
and they do, and that's the bad thing, and not all teams or organizations across sports in general understand.
I don't mean that to sound bad. It's not like they're personally doing that just to hurt people, but I mean it happens.
It's business,
exactly.
At the end of the day, it's business, but at the end of the day, for us, it's more than that.
Yeah,
I guess what I'm trying to say is I appreciate the way you guys do it over that.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yeah, it's appreciated. I'm sure I'm not alone when I voice that opinion.
As we're kind of wrapping up, the season's getting ready to start. Just you personally, Catherine, what is it that you kind of want to see? Like, what's your goals for this season? I mean, obviously, winning season is on everybody's. That's the top of everyone's list when you have a team.
Right.
But I mean, is there anything personally that you want to see? I mean, is it maybe you want to see a certain attendance record? Or are you just trying to get the team as best you can?
I want to see the atmosphere at Big Rock Stadium be the best that it has been in its 5 years.
Right.
And
which is saying something, because it's done well. And like you said, you mentioned earlier, the first season they won the league. So obviously I know like the first home game broke all kinds of expectations. So it's been a consistently good atmosphere to begin with.
Yeah.
So just to see a 1-up on that.
I mean, I want to see a 5-year-old little boy or little girl. I want to see the process of them falling in love with baseball. Right. I want to see it in their eyes. Right. And I think that from our standpoint, on this side of the fence, we're not in the baseball industry. We're in the entertainment industry.
Right.
And I think that is my goal every game, is to provide that child with the experience that I was provided. That is why I'm here right now and why I'm still working in baseball. And it's something that baseball's always been there. It'll always be there. Yeah. And to provide that atmosphere and experience for that kid to be at the game with their mom and dad and just be absolutely in love with it all, that's my goal.
I think that's probably a good mindset to have if you're general managing a team.
Yeah.
I can certainly understand, obviously ticket sales are important, winning games is important, but I think if you have the mindset that you have now, I think everything else will probably fall into place.
Yep, I agree.
It's easy to see, sometimes it's so much more than that. Like you were saying, it's just not just about winning games and ticket sales and things. And you mentioned when we talked earlier with your past and your history and how you got involved. I mean, you were a little girl going to games with your family. I've got little girls, so I mean, you never think that little 3, 4, 5-year-old little boy or girl, you could be affecting the rest of their life, so to speak. Yeah. So you're a testament to that.
You could be instilling a lifelong passion in them from the very beginning.
I mean, we've put in place our coach. He's going to take care of her on the field. We have full confidence in that. So from that standpoint, I'm confident in, and from all the others, I know that we have the staff in place, but so really that allows me to focus on exactly what we're talking about.
From the on-field stuff, you can, now that that's the season's getting ready to start, you can kind of take a step back from that and maybe focus on some other things.
Absolutely.
That's great.
I mean, it's been a sheer pleasure. I would have never guessed I would have learned as much as I have. I mean, you really, again, I'm not trying to sound naive about it, but you just think that it's just as easy as going to a ball game and enjoying some entertainment, and that's the end of it. But there's so much more. We appreciate your hard efforts, the players' efforts, the coaches, the owners, everybody. We thank you guys for being here today with us. Is there anything else you wanted to add, Levi?
No, just definitely we'll plug the sites again. It is mhcmarlins.com, and then I believe on Facebook it is facebook.com/mhcmarlins. Yep. I checked that earlier to make sure it's right.
Go find you guys. Everybody's active on social media. Like Levi said, we'll put everything up on our website.
Yep.
We appreciate you being here, everything that you do. It was nice learning about the Marlins. When if I'm a little behind, but only because I've only come back to the area myself. Welcome
not your fault.
Welcome to the Crystal Coast. We're glad to have you.
Thank you so much for having me.
We look forward to seeing how the season goes. So
thank you very much, Catherine, for being with us.
Stick around, guys. We'll be right back. This episode of the Lookout Cookout is brought to you by Zion Consulting, offering services in graphic and website design, software development, and business consulting. Want to take your business to the next level? Visit zioncg.com and let Zion Consulting go the extra mile for you.
All right, welcome back, guys. This is Levi, in case you couldn't tell from my sultry voice. I want to thank everybody for listening to this episode, but I also just really want to thank Catherine for joining us on the show. She was great. Actually, we didn't mention it in the episode, but it is our first in studio.
In studio.
That's why everything sounded so crystal clear.
Most people don't realize that, and I don't know if they even care. I mean, I listen to a few podcasts, and they're each done their own way.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff that we record has been on location.
Yeah, usually with the built-in mic in our recorder in conference rooms and offices, and a lot of times not even that fancy.
Yeah. I mean, pulling back the curtain in case you guys notice the difference in audio quality from time to time throughout the episodes. Hey, that's how we do things. Yeah. We get it done.
That's the thing. I mean, most of the people we're interviewing are very busy, so we go to them if necessary. And Catherine, she was nice enough to come join us and sit down with us in the studio and record on our lovely mics. I was going to throw out a brand name, but we're not sponsored, so we'll leave it blank.
Lookout Cookout brand.
Yeah, our Lookout Cookout mics. But she was great. She really gave us a lot of good information that we didn't know before, and she was just lovely. She's an entertaining lady.
It was definitely nice to learn about the things with the area that they're concerned with and that they participate in, and just, I mean, like the story with the family and the players and the host families. it's all heartwarming. I hate to get all sappy. I'm not the sappy one.
It's continuing our, at this point, 4 or 5 episode trend of how important community is to all of these people and businesses and organizations that we talk to. So, it's great. And everybody, if you are anywhere near in the area, you should definitely support the Marlins and all of the staff and players that really put in a lot of time and effort, and in some cases for very little or no money.
This isn't a big time
exactly.
ball team that they're doing.
So, but definitely everybody go check out mhcmarlins.com. There you can see schedules, dates for the game. You can find address. You can purchase tickets, single tickets, season tickets, and
They've got a link to all their social media too. I know they're pretty active on their Twitter account and things like that.
Yeah,
so definitely go check them out. Follow them. All the above. You guys know the routine by now.
Yeah, just swarm them with support.
And definitely get out and support those ball players. Again, as of this recording, they're scheduled to start on May 26th with their first game. Their first home game is the very next day, May 27th.
Against the Forest City Owls.
Yeah. Let's be honest. They're probably going to go down. Trash talking through the airwaves.
So definitely, guys, please go out and support them if you are able. And, even if you're not able to support them financially by buying tickets, just go on Facebook, give them some likes, give them some shares, just, get the word out about them, because it's rare that a city of this size gets something like this. So we definitely want them to stay as long as they possibly can.
Yeah, that's a good point, because there's a lot of people that complain there's nothing to do in the area and everything costs so much money. And hey, this is something that's not that, it's relatively inexpensive.
It's cheaper than going to a movie.
And we have a local ball team that you can actually go out and support. So get out there and support them, guys. Speaking of support, it's professional right there. Without the support of our sponsors, there's no way we could have the privilege of goofing off with you guys on each and every episode. So again, we want to, as always, thank our sponsors. Above it all, Zion Consulting Group, Lookout Adventures, and Island Traders. Without those guys, as always, we would be out just goofing off in front of nobody.
We'd be talking into no microphones. There'd just be no microphones in the stand. It'd just be us standing on
It'd be much more awkward with us standing here doing this with nothing recording or any people to interview.
And then we wouldn't have an editor to yell at later.
Or yell at us. I mean,
that never happens. All right, guys. But definitely a big thanks to those sponsors. Big thanks to Miss Catherine Roth for joining us on the show. And good luck to the Morehead City Marlins this coming season. I think
a nice one.
I think it's going to be a good one. Opie, thank you, sir.
Hey, as always,
pleasure as always.
Levi. We'll see you next time, guys.